Hello, everybody. Test one, two, three. Test one, two, three. Have you guys ever felt completely overwhelmed by life, things that are happening, things that aren't happening for you, and you just feel like kind of like a cluster of nerves? You are just constantly kind of crashing out. Well, this, my friends, is the video for you. We're going to be talking about the anti-crash out methods that I use in my sessions. My name is Johanna Dinsdale from Multi Therapy. I am a qualifying psychotherapist from Toronto, Canada. And I like to use this channel to talk about tips and tricks that I use in therapy. I'm still getting used to the live format, guys, so if you bear with me while I try to figure that all out. I appreciate any feedback that you have to make it better or worse. So let's dive into it, guys. Anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. Why do we have it? What's going on with it? How do you get rid of it? Okay, so first of all, just remember that anxiety is a completely normal part of the human experience. Everybody and their moms are experiencing anxiety. And sometimes just hearing this helps, normalize that feeling, right? You aren't alone in this crazy, crazy life. And yeah, let's talk about first identifying the problem, right? It might seem like a lot of different things causing the problem. And jumping into it, giving it a name can be super helpful. Let's start with my anxiety. Is it, because of a million things? Is it because of one thing, two things? Really diving into specifics, right? Maybe it's you owe a couple $100 to somebody and that's stressing you out like crazy. Or you got a big deadline coming up and it's really driving you crazy just thinking about all the possibilities of what could happen with that. That's okay, right? It's all right to acknowledge those feelings and not try to repress them. I think oftentimes people try to shut those feelings down right away. Okay, I got to be better than this. I got to be better than my anxiety. It's completely fine to crash out sometimes, guys. That's normal. Embrace the crash out. Give yourself a little bit of space to feel those feelings. Hi, Abigail. Welcome. It's nice to see you here. Hi, CJ. Welcome. I'm glad you guys found me. I know this is not my usual time, but when you have that spark of inspiration, you just go for it, guys. You just continue on with it. So yeah, catch me up, guys. How are you feeling with anxiety feelings, huh? Do you have anything going on there? Let me know. I'd love to hear your stories. I think that is an important part of our community is hearing each other's stories, listening, supporting, and yeah, hearing some fun tips and tricks from me, a therapist, to help you. Hi, Paulo. Welcome. I am a therapist in Canada. How are you doing? I feel like I've seen you here before, haven't I? Oh, thanks, Abigail. Hi, James. How are you doing? Welcome. Let's confront our anxieties together, guys. Let's take a minute here and I'll figure out what we're anxious about right now. For me, I'm anxious about starting my own business as a therapist. That is a big stressor on me. There's a lot of self-doubts. Is it gonna work? Am I an imposter? Am I good enough to have my own business, right? That's one of my big anxieties. Failure is imminent. Xander, you said your anxiety hack is to get your buddy to scream nightmare repeatedly in your face during any panic attacks. Hey, Xander, if it works, it works. Sometimes just that shake into reality can help, absolutely. Abigail, your friend also screams in your face nightmare? Is this a thing? Am I just not aware of this? Should I be adding this to my therapeutic toolbox? Marco, you use Xanax when a panic attack strikes. Yep, absolutely. That's another great anxiety hack. If you feel like you've worked through everything, you've tried every other option, You could try medication. Some people want to jump into there right away and then work on their feelings, go from there, either stay on medication or try to reduce it after that. There is no wrong ways to do this, guys. I validate every option when it comes to medication, and yeah, validated. Consider yourself validated. Pfft. I should get a stamp that says validated for the camera. Hey, Biggie. Anxiety is just panic attack. No, not necessarily. It can be a lot of different things, but basically it is when your body and mind is reacting to stressful situations. If you think about it this way, back in the day when we were being chased around by all sorts of predators, like mammoths, I don't know, saber-toothed tigers, anxiety was great, right? It kept us on our toes. Our mind starts to race, we get sweaty, our heart starts racing. So it was very, very useful back in the day when we were having all these threats in our lives. But now it's come to the point where we're feeling this anxiety, even though we're not in danger. Anxiety can be helpful, like when there's a big deadline and you need to quickly get things done. But that's where it gets fun, right? You can start checking in with yourself and saying, maybe this anxiety is no longer benefiting me, but it's actually hindering me in a lot of ways. And that's when we could say, this might be something I really want to work on, right? Right. Let's see. Paulo, you got to know my channel through my hypnosis. Fun fact, as much as you try, you can never fall asleep with hypnosis. Oh no. Paulo, I hope you enjoy hypnosis awake then. I know some people can't fall asleep while people are yapping at them, so completely understandable. You're not alone there. I'm so glad that you've checked out my channel for the hypnosis. We do all sorts of therapeutic stuff here. James Johnson, is racing down the highway good therapy? I'm sure it feels pretty good and exhilarating, but make sure you're doing it in a safe way, guys. I would be a hypocrite to say I've never gone a little bit over the speed limit, but you didn't hear that from me. Xander, such a stellar approach. Thanks. Marco the Great. Yes, Marco, you know about the 3x3 slow breathing. Absolutely. Fun fact, it's like your brain is connected to your body, right? And vice versa. So perhaps some of you experience anxiety specifically through your body first and then your mind. So for example, you have a big project coming out, you start to feel really sweaty, you start to be jittery running around, right? And then your mind follows suit. Or it might be the other way around, where you're starting to freak out in your mind and then you start to feel your heart racing. So obviously there's a big link between the two, right? Deep breathing, slow breathing, is a way to hack that body reaction. You're tricking your body into saying, oh, I'm actually calm, I'm actually relaxed. I'm not being chased by a tiger if I'm breathing gently and easily. You are slowing down your nervous system. Whoa, my face got really big. How do I zoom out? Please zoom out. Did it zoom out? Okay, there we go. That's so funny. Yeah, generalized anxiety disorder is very different from a panic attack. That's for certain, yes. Some people don't realize that your brain is just a bunch of goop, guys. Unfortunately, sometimes the chemicals are going to be unbalanced, and medication is the only option. However, you can always pair it with therapy, right? With better coping mechanisms, with different ways for distress tolerance. Yeah, and by including those together, then you're really cooking. Then you're really confronting this anxiety from many, many different ways. And that's what we love to see. Yes, the fight or flight syndrome, absolutely. There's also freeze. So fight, flight, or freeze tends to be the top three that happen to you if something scary is happening. Paulo, you like the hypnosis recordings when you're awake? Thank you, Paulo. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun getting to play around my channel, seeing what really resonates with people. Obviously, I love mental health stuff, so that's my main thing. Yes, yeah, that kind of breathing, so true. Hi, Anchor, how are you doing? So, for example, guys, one that the military uses actually to help regulate their nervous system, because obviously being in a battleground is very, very anxiety inducing. They use deep breathing to help them calm their bodies down, which in turn calms their mind down. Box breathing is a very common one. It's 4 seconds in, so count to 4. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like a box. You can even visualize it, right? It's like you breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. And you just keep doing that again and again until you feel your mind follow suit. Okay, that's how you know that it's working. Hi, Sachin. Welcome. Yeah, I know I'm streaming in the morning. Well, for you, the morning. For me, the evening. Typically, it's the other way around, guys. I typically stream Monday to Fridays, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, I figured I'd hop on in the evening today just to shake things up. How are you doing, Sachin? Tell me, are you feeling anxiety today? Please fill me in. James, you have bipolar with angry issues and impulsive. How can you contact your bipolar with angry issues and impulsive before I run into bigger problems? Well, that's a great question, James. I would highly recommend talking, first of all, to like a mental health professional. There's only so much I can do on these live streams. So I really think if you're here and reaching out and wanting to work on that, that's definitely the first step. There's all sorts of different types of therapy. When it comes to, bipolar, a lot of people use cognitive behavioral therapy, narrative therapy. Sometimes it does need medication in order to fully, control the symptoms. But if that's not something you're looking for, you can always start with therapy and go from there. It's always good to keep checking in with yourselves. There's a lot of great specific tools you can use to help with those. I don't have a specific certification in bipolar. That's why I don't want to dive too deep into it. I don't want to give any misinformation. But perhaps I will do a video in the future. I'll do some deep dive research and get back to you on that one. So please, if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to join our community. And yeah, I think that would be a great thing to talk about. So thank you, James, for sharing. You couldn't see my face blonde. You just see Johanna blonde to calm down. Aw, thanks, Sachin. That's very nice. Yeah, that's great. That's your anxiety hack. Just look at my face. Paulo, can you share any advice overcoming burnout when one is out of money for therapy? It's been 3 years. Nothing seems to work. A relaxing routine never gets constant. You can't cool down. Absolutely, Paulo. I'm sorry to hear that, like the affordability is an issue, but the good news is there's a lot of free therapy programs out there. I really highly recommend, if that's something you need, to look it up. There's tons of therapists, interns, and everything all over the place that have to do free hours. So definitely look into that. And when it comes to burnout, usually it's, there's a few different things that are happening, right? You want to make sure that you're really slowing things down, taking some self-care time, right? Burnout is a sign that you have pushed yourself too hard. You're mentally drained, physically drained. So if at all possible, just starting to take some small actionable steps in order to create space for some self-care, whatever that looks like to you. Maybe it could be, instead of looking at your phone just before nighttime, just reading a book or something, or, waking up, letting yourself sleep in a little bit on the weekend, right? Or I don't know, some people like to treat themselves. They'll go out for a walk with a friend they haven't seen for a long time. So I hope that's helpful. Burnout's tricky, right? Especially when you're in a situation where you can't change, your schedule, right? I often hear burnout from people who just don't feel like they have any free time. And that's tricky. You have to really advocate for yourself and make that time happen, because burnout, again, it's like not sustainable. What's happening is unsustainability in your schedule. Sachin, you feel good every day. So much unfinished business in life. You need my wise words. Oh, Sachin, that's very sweet. What kind of unfinished business? If you'd like to share, feel free to share. Marco, image reprocessing, progressive muscle relaxation, PMR, visualization, and many more. Marco, you are on fire here. You are giving so many great anxiety hacks. Absolutely. I love a good progressive muscle relaxation. I use it all the time in hypnosis. And especially if some of my clients are feeling very anxious, realistically, you cannot function fully when you're having like a panic attack, right? So clients will come in and they'll want to like really work through things because they're feeling anxious. It's like the first thing I do is slow everybody down. Let's slow down, take some breaths so we're able to release some of that anxiety. And it can be super helpful. And the session's a lot more productive that way too. Ruth, you're having a lot of anxiety around chronic illness. How to deal with anxiety around that when it's justified? Absolutely, Ruth. I really feel for you there. Chronic illness is not ideal, right? And when my clients have that kind of thing, I often take a radical acceptance approach, right? It's kind of hardcore in a way that you're saying, I completely accept my situation for what it is. It's not great. So how am I going to live a meaningful life even though I'm in this predicament? It's really diving into what your purpose in life is, really leaning into, what is in your control if that's the case. Because often we tend to focus on the things that are out of our control, right? But there's a way to really focus on what we do have control over, and hopefully that can be helpful. And of course, if this is something you're really struggling with, please talk to a professional mental health person, because they'll dive in a lot deeper than I can than just on here. Marco. Okay, yeah. So you take a low-level dose of Valium for GAD and Xanax for acute panic attacks. Yep, that sounds about right. I know a lot of people who are in the same kind of predicament there. Yeah, you're a bit skeptical of other medications. That's okay too, right, guys? It's all right to have control over your own autonomy. That's the great thing about life. We do have control on what we put into our bodies, hopefully. So if you're skeptical about medication, really consider why that is. Where did those beliefs come from? Is it a cultural thing? All that fun stuff. James, how to tell if someone is depressed? That's a really great question. There can be a few different ways of telling. There is this great assessment you could look up if you want. Hold on, what is it called again? I'm blanking. Just gonna Google it real quick. PHQ-9, you guys. If you are worried that you might have depression, the PHQ-9 is what most every therapist uses in order to get a feel about people's depression. And it just focuses on the main symptoms of depression, right? If we have depression, you might feel little or no interest in doing things that usually really you got jazzed about, feeling down, depressed, or hopeless, trouble falling asleep or sleeping too much, tired, having little energy, poor appetite, or overeating. It's interesting, how depression can kind of take you in two very different directions, but it is the same thing, right? It's often have stuff to do with the way that you view yourself, feeling bad about yourself, feeling like you're a failure, trouble concentrating, and also, again, it's like one or the other, either moving really slowly or like being super fidgety could be symptoms as well. And of course, the final ones are thoughts of unaliving yourself. And that's a really important one to talk to somebody right away about, guys. There's a lot of helplines out there that you can call for free. So again, if you need to talk to somebody, that's a great, great resource. Sachin says, it's better to cry out your heart and go to Jesus Mary's lap. Better meditation. Wow, that's beautiful. So true. I find so many people that I talk to, no matter what religion they are, they find so much peace and just support through their faith, which is such a beautiful thing. I love to see that. Hi from Indonesia. Hello. Welcome. And from South Africa. Amazing, guys. Welcome to the chat. I'm so glad you're here. We're talking anxiety, and I'd love to hear about maybe how you feel anxiety affects you in your culture. Do you think there's any cultural differences between you guys? I'm from Canada, Toronto, Canada. I am a qualifying psychotherapist. Marco says, the secret about secrets. Not having any secrets can provide big relief from not having to pretend. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see in certain circumstances where just being able to not have any secrets will feel pretty good. Absolutely. It's about living your authentic self, right? I talk about that a lot with my clients. What is living your authentic self? How can we do that? And typically how you get to that point of, okay, here's what my authentic self is. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you guys think that you know what your authentic self is? Who that looks like? Yes or no? Ooh, let's do a poll. Oh, do I know how to do a poll? I figured it out the other day. No, I don't think I'll be able to do it right now. I always delete the chat off my computer, unfortunately, and then forget how to put it back. That's just Jorb stuff. Okay. Juan Ray, it's morning here now. The sun is about to rise. Beautiful. Good morning. I hope you have a wonderful day. Ugh, yeah, it is 10 p.m. here. So late, but not too late. We still can party for a while. I'm not feeling too tired. How about you guys? Did you get a nice sleep? Ruth, you said the mental health sector near you has collapsed. It went through investigation for being so bad. I feel like the hospital never listens unless you're about to, oh no, you're mostly just housebound and lost. I'm so sorry to hear that, Ruth. That's really hard to hear. And I'm glad that that hospital is getting investigated, because that absolutely should not be the case. You should feel supported, especially when you reach out for help, right? I really hope you're able to connect with somebody if that's how you're feeling, because it's really important to talk to somebody right now if you're having those thoughts. There's free helplines. And again, the wonderful thing is if you don't click with somebody on there, there's always a different operator you can request or call a different hotline. Okay, guys, don't give up. Just because one person doesn't advocate for you or understand your needs, please don't give up. You gotta stand up for yourself when it comes to these things. James, you think your younger brother might be depressed. Is depression genetic? Yes, I do believe that depression has been linked to genetics. I'm really sorry to hear your brother's going through that. If you're looking to support him, maybe just having like a gentle discussion, right? Nothing too direct, but saying, hey, I noticed maybe you've been acting a bit differently. You know, what's going on? Just know that I'm here for you, right? Sometimes something as simple as that can be very helpful. And my favorite thing you can offer to somebody struggling is, how can I support you? It is such an important question. How can I support you? You're saying, I want you to give me the blueprint on how to help you. Because sometimes we try our best, but we don't know how specifically to do that, right? So that's a wonderful question to get insight on how to help somebody. Ruth, Canada is beautiful. You've traveled across Canada when you were healthy. The people were just so kind and beautiful. Ruth, you are welcome here anytime. We'd love to have you back in Canada. It is a very beautiful place, and I'm very fortunate to live here. I love living in Canada. Oh, Ruth, don't you worry. I really appreciate you checking in, and sorry if I missed your messages. I'm just catching up with them all. Sachin, I need a poll. I know, I gotta figure out how to do that on my computer again. I love the polls. It's so silly. You turn off the chat just to see me. Oh, thank you, Sachin. Oh my gosh, I always forget that like the words are right above my face, huh? I literally like, I'm hiding behind the chat. That's okay. I don't mind it too much, but maybe I'll try to adjust my camera a little bit so I'm less hidden. Oh, I don't know if that did anything. Hopefully it did something. Marco, you're from Los Angeles. Now that is a place I would love to check out. Oh, a psychiatrist charges you $5 per minute. Oh my gosh. Wow, I know it's tough in the United States, isn't it? Everything's really expensive there. But guys, if you need affordable therapy, look into like intern therapists. I know it's like people have their reservations, but sometimes it's a good option because these people don't have a lot of clients. They have their supervisor to bounce off of, or at least that's how it works in Canada. Maybe look up how it works in your location. But in Ontario, basically how it works is when you're an intern therapist, you have to do, 450 hours of direct client work. So that's like one-on-one with somebody in a therapy session, 450 hours before even getting close to becoming like a fully registered psychotherapist. And I've finished those 450 hours now. I've done my exam. Hopefully I pass. I don't know yet. And then after that, you move on to, oh my gosh, blanking. Oh, you need 100 hours of supervision. So that's where you're working one-on-one with a therapist that have already had 5 hours of work or 5 hours. What am I saying? 5 years of experience after they've become a registered psychotherapist. So that's why I kind of say interns might be a good option because they are directly talking to somebody who has at least 5 years experience about your case at all times. So that's why Ontario is great. We got things figured out here when it comes to the rules and regulations. And I hope for you down in LA that it's the same case. I hope that maybe you can look it up and see if you guys got the intern therapist there too. Fingers crossed for you, Marco, if that's something you're going to look into. Or the free hotlines. Juan Ray, depression in all races, sides in our country. We try to keep depression and anxiety far away. Absolutely. That's really great to hear, Juan Ray. Thank you for. Is it Juan Ray? Juan, right? Is that how you pronounce it? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Sorry. Sachin, come to Johanna confession concession for subscribers. Yeah, everybody subscribe, please. That would be amazing. Yeah, but that's really interesting that South Africa, it seems like you guys have a lot of community there is what you're saying, which I love. Community is everything, guys. I think that's a real big issue here in Canada too. We're such a big country, very wide country, a lot of diversity, which is wonderful. But sometimes you still feel lonely. And that's the wild thing too. It's like, how do we feel lonely with billions of people on the planet? And somehow we still end up feeling lonely. That's something to really unpack in therapy too. We can do a loneliness episode at some point. But yeah, once you figure out what your anxiety is, come up with possible solutions, right? How you might have solved similar problems in the past to boost your confidence. You're saying, you know what? I have confidence in myself to solve this because I've solved it in the past before. Again, reaching out for your community, what your friends or family would advise, talk to them, or even just imagine what they would say if you can't talk to them right in that moment. And envision how you would like to see yourself tackling the problem. Like, kind of, if I were the ideal version of myself, and this is where it comes to the authentic self, what would that look like? We really, as adults, sometimes forget to tap into our imaginations. Imagination is such a powerful tool for change, for happiness, creativity, what have you, right? We get caught up in the grind. Start to do things a little bit differently, you know? Remember that you have control in your life, whether that be, all right, I'm gonna eat my pizza backwards. Woo. Anything big or small, just to shake things up a little bit can be really great for you. James, used to use a lot of drinking to help with your bipolar and angry issues and impulsive and self-confidence. Ooh, that's a hard one, James. Again, it's really hard for me to make a call about that because it's just like a chat. So I think you would need like a proper assessment. There are some kind of online tools you can take to really understand how, where you're struggling with drinking. I'm sure like logically, you know, but sometimes these like assessment tools can be helpful just to have a little bit further understanding. Again, depends. Cold turkey is very difficult for a lot of people, but I've seen it done where people have been able to do it. Rehab is a wonderful thing to do because, number one, again, depends on where you are, but Ontario, you can be put on a waiting list and go to rehab for free, which is great. Or you could pay for it and go right away. Yeah. Rehab is wonderful because when you go there, I'll kind of walk you guys through it just so you know what to expect if you ever decide to go to rehab. You have like a meeting with them. They'll ask you a few questions to kind of get a better understanding of where you're struggling. If you're going to rehab, they often say, like a lot of people say, oh, I don't think I'm bad enough to go to rehab, or like I'm not supposed to be here. But if you're thinking about going to rehab, you're probably in the right place, right? Like you can't lose really by going there, hopefully, if they're a good rehab. And then once you get there, it's very structured, right? There's going to be, lost my thought. It's very structured program. So like day one, it's a lot of like meditation, mindfulness tools, exploring, you know, our families and stuff, why this has happened to you. And each day is something different to tackle kind of the holistic problem that caused you to drink. So the wonderful thing about rehab is it's just like intensive therapy. You're getting all this months and months of therapy all smushed down into like 1 month. So it is something else and life changing. So again, if you want to try cold turkey at first, and then if it doesn't work, use the rehab as a backup, that could be an option too. Again, if this is something you're worried about, talk to a professional, please. Phony, what's up? Not much. We're just talking mental health. Brother Nolan, nice to see you. Sachin, left bad memories and start a new life. Walk out of a bad situation in life. Yeah, Sachin, how are you doing? Is that something that you did? Did you walk out of a bad situation? Tell us a bit more about what's going on with you if you'd like. You're giving some wise words there, Sachin. I appreciate that. Juan Ray says, yeah, we do, ma'am. There's still a lot of indifference and fighting going on, but we have come to find that our country does produce excellent cannabis. Oh, wow. Try to motivate it rather than pills. Yeah, definitely. Canada just legalized it too. So, yeah, I haven't seen much of a difference, actually. I think Canadians were just using it the whole time anyways. So, I guess the government's just getting a piece of the pie now. Marco the Great. Good night from America, the land of the unlimited possibilities. In brackets, Marco. All right, Marco, if you're going to bed, thank you for joining. I appreciate you, and you have a good one. Phony, what do you think of dissociative personality disorder? What do I think about it? Yeah, it's a disorder. I don't know what you mean, Phony. What do I think of it? It's something that can definitely be managed with the right techniques. James Johnson. In the past 4 years, you've had to have your stomach pumped out 50 times. You're from rural North Carolina. Okay, wow, from the drinking, huh? Yeah, James, it sounds like something we'll probably have to change soon, huh? That sounds a bit dangerous. I really hope that you're able to find the help that you need. It's not an easy journey, but it is worth it from me to you. I quit drinking 8 years ago, and best decision of my life, guys. I was definitely a problem drinker, and I realized it was getting out of hand, so I had to stop. And yeah, what a difference it's made. I feel amazing. Definitely worth it. Break down your solution. And when I say that, I know some people are able to drink normally, and that's great, good for you. But for other people, you just can't. It's just too delicious, I suppose. Right. So let's get back to anxiety. Okay, guys? So we tried out the solution, review the outcome. You're starting to notice that your anxiety, what have we talked about? The breathing first, okay? I'm having anxiety. I'm going to do some deep breathing. I'm going to really center myself. I'm going to label the anxiety. What's happening to me? What am I worried about? And then you try to limit the time you spend worrying. You know, anxious people tend to spend much of their time worrying. I'm definitely one of those people. They find it very hard to just switch it off and relax, right? For example, your work might be living rent-free in your head, right? You might be constantly carrying around this worry about work and what's happening at work and, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go to work tomorrow again. And it's like, you're not actually relaxing when you're going home. You're just continuing to work, but you just don't have your computer in front of you, right? I've definitely been there too. Sachin says, you lost your home, fighting legal battle, facing bullying, but staying positive. One day you come out of it, meditation, hobby. Having good people around makes a change. Oh, Sachin, I'm sorry to hear that you're going through that. Nobody's a wasted life, okay? Nobody. Everybody can make changes and turn it around. I really do believe that. James, that's okay. That's okay. We're here for the community, right? Like, obviously there's a topic, but I'm kind of famous for getting off a topic. That's just kind of my thing. And we love it, okay? That's what we do here. Okay, so where was I? Limiting time of worry. Yes. So the one way that you can do this is assign like a worrying time, which involves setting aside between like 15 and 20 minutes to just allow yourself to worry about that thing. Sometimes that can be in the form of, getting home from work and venting to your partner for like 10 minutes and then say, okay, worry time over. Let's just focus on fun, right? And this way you're creating that space, that good downtime that you need in order to actually feel better about the situation, right? Some people use their worry time as journaling, right? Taking that time to write it all down, all those stressors, and then leaving it in the book. Yeah. If you find that thoughts are popping into your head outside of the worry time, there's a really quick way of doing it, and we call this thought diffusion. This is something that we use in DBT, which is where you imagine your thoughts as if they are like a cloud. And when a thought pops into your head, they're not really part of you, right? They're just a thought cloud. A worry pops into your head outside of worry time. You see the thought cloud and you're saying, oh, okay, I acknowledge you. I see why you're there, but I'm just going to let you breeze on by. Just imagine that thought cloud disappearing away. It doesn't have any effect on you. It's not part of you. You understand why it's there because this is something that you've been doing for a long time. So it's going to take some practice for those thought clouds to stop popping up all the time, right? This is a very common thing we use in therapy and teacher people. If you want, a way to do this too is to write down your thoughts, your thought clouds in a list, right? Sometimes we have like the same worries over and over and over again. And by putting them pen to paper, we can understand a pattern. We can start to see which worries are popping up all the time and start to challenge them a little bit. So if you're worrying, your anxiety every single day is that, like, oh my gosh, I look like a slob. I look terrible. Like, oh my gosh, everybody's judging me by the way I look. It's like, okay, this is a big worry that I'm having, and I didn't even realize it, right? Like you're just feeling really self-conscious all the time. How can we challenge this? What can we do? Making little steps to make us feel better about ourselves if that's the case, right? It could be a lot of different things. Sachin, we are the school children. Johanna's the teacher. Oh no, I hope I don't sound too lectury. That would be pretty funny. Ooh, James, you got some tattoos? Nice. What are they of? I love to hear it. I got some tattoos too. I got my question mark. I have a big fox tattoo on my arm there. That's all I got though. Not too many. Juan Ray, it's good to talk, even if it's with a stranger. You will and can beat your problem. Yeah, oh, that's wonderful. You're hyping up our friend in the chat. That's amazing. I love when people talk to each other in the chat. It makes me so happy. Yes. You can do something here called hit the shovel. Try putting all your focus on the positive thought you had that day. I love that. Hit the shovel. That's so cool. I'm going to write that down. Hit the shovel. So fun. Thank you for sharing. I'm trying to think of well, I guess I am sharing therapeutic tips, but I'm like, I can't think of anything that's like specific to Canada. Oh, recently our fun patriotic thing we say is elbows up. Elbows up. And that just means you gotta fight for your freedom. Yeah, I think it's like a hockey term that we just turned into this political thing. So elbows up is what we say when you gotta power through. Session, you gotta go. Have a good one. Yeah, have a great breakfast, I guess. Take care, Sachin. Bye. See you later. Yeah, okay, guys. Let's kind of wrap things up a little bit. I'm going to say a few more tips and tricks that you can use. Of course, self-care is a big one, right? We've talked about box breathing, labeling the thought, challenging the thought. That's a big one, right? Thought diffusion, let them turn into clouds so they don't overtake your whole day. Creating space to worry, but not letting it be the whole day. And then finally is self-care, right, guys? Anxiety often stems from burnout, like we talked about. So you gotta create some space in your life to do things that are actually calming, relaxing, and enjoyable, okay? This helps reduce your anxiety levels by calming the body and the mind, right? It can also help you with sleep. Without taking the time to unwind, it's really easy to feel overwhelmed and stressed. Shin, that's a great question. I personally am wearing it because it is very dry in Canada right now. The lipstick. It's like a moisturizing thing. Yeah, so it might be do some exercise, read a book, watch your favorite TV show, talk to a friend, whatever that might be. And it can even be good to write down somewhere like self-care ideas so that when you're feeling really anxious, you just pull one out and say, okay, let's go. I'm doing this right now, because there's no point in just staying in this loop of stress. Now, we did talk about muscular relaxation a little bit, and that can be achieved by watching one of my hypnosis videos, soft pitch to subscribe. And yeah, if you're feeling really anxious, muscular relaxation is another way to trick your body, which then your mind follows suit to relax. That's when you mentally are saying, okay, I'm going to pretend my feet are asleep, my calves are asleep, my legs are asleep. You're just progressively, slowly telling your body to relax each little muscle, heal every cell. It is the power of your imagination again coming in, saying, hey, we are calm, we are safe in this moment, nothing else to do, nowhere to go but to relax and just enjoy this moment. All right, that is just one other way to trick your body into chilling out. You can always try to use distraction techniques, right? We call this the grounding technique, where you use 5 things in the room that you can see, a few things that you can hear, anything you can taste in your mouth. You're basically becoming stuck in the present moment. And by doing this, you're blocking out all those crazy thoughts that are happening in the background. You're saying, I'm focusing right here, right now. Oh, look at this mug, look at this, oh, look at that. Okay, I'm tasting this lovely hibiscus tea, delicious. And by doing that, I'm not thinking about the million other things that are happening in my head. James, your tattoo is a right forearm memorial of your great-grandpa. Very nice. And your other right forearm is your great-grandma name writing in cursive. And on your chest is a giant rose, and your left forearm is a memorial for your grandma. That's beautiful. I love memorial tattoos. Those are really nice. I kind of wish, I'm like half and half, you guys. I only have a few tattoos, and some days I'm like, I just want to get them zapped. And then other days I'm like, I want to get a full body, like a full sleeve. So I don't know why. So I'm just leaving them for now. I'm like, I gotta see how I feel later on and go from there. But I do love them. I don't know why. Some days I'm just like, I'm gonna zap them. You know. Everybody gets like that sometimes, right? Validate me, guys. Validate me. Juan Ray, have an awesome day, everyone. He says, keep your eyes towards the skies. So nice to meet you too, Juan. It was really nice to meet you. Seeing there are still people who care. You can still help a lot of people. And James, he's hyping you up, okay? He's saying you can do it. Absolutely. I agree with him. Just got to power through. We believe in you. Never give up. Got it? What a wonderful chat. I'm really glad the people showed up who did today. This has been really nice. Okay, guys, we're almost at the end of the list that I had. Yes, take care, Juan Ray. Bye. Have a great one. Things that you should avoid. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. List the things that you avoid specifically. These are kind of confronting the fears that you might have. Like anxiety can be fear-based, right? Maybe you're really wanting to work out, but you're worried about how people are going to, judge you or something, or you're feeling anxious in a group, right? Giving that fear a rating. So for example, giving it an 80 out of 100. It's like, oh, would be like one of the worst things I could ever try doing. And by doing this, you can break it down into small actionable steps. If this is something you really, really want to try, but you're really struggling to do it, that's when you can use the fear ladder. And I have a whole video on that too, you guys, how to work through the fear ladder from step 1 to 10. So feel free to check that out. And yeah, I think that was the final little anxiety hack that I had for today. I really appreciate everybody who's joined me in this live stream. I think it was a really great group of people. I'm glad to see everybody supporting each other. And James, you got this. Keep going. We believe in you. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Again, my name is Johanna Dinsdale from Multitherapy. You can check out my website, multitherapy.co, if you'd like. Please feel free to like this video, share, subscribe, hype it, or you could join my membership if you'd like to support the channel. All right, guys. Well, take care, and I'll see you